If your business feels busy but not clear, profitable but not peaceful, then this video will change the game for you. Most entrepreneurs are out here trying to scale chaos and they really don't even realize it. That's why in today's video, I am walking you through a business audit that I have used with other entrepreneurs to help them shift from stuck and scared and chaotic to clear, impactful, and more profitable. There's no fluff, no vague advice. This is all about just delivering to you guys clear structure and strategy that you can use to move forward in your business. I'm going to be dropping gem after gem, and my only ask is that you drop a like down below. This is part of a series where I drop a free masterclass every single week, providing you guys with deep dives on real business advice, real business systems, real business strategy that you can take and run with. This is information that usually lives behind a paywall. You usually have to pay for some sort of consulting session in order to get this information, but I drop it on my YouTube channel, and my only request is that you hit that like button, and if you find it valuable, hit the subscribe button as well. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about who is going to benefit most from the steps we're going to be taking in this video and why you should absolutely take the time to do this. The people who are going to benefit the most from this video are service-based entrepreneurs that are looking to scale with more clarity. So you already have a business, you're already making money, but things are starting to get complicated and you are realizing that you cannot continue to operate the same way that you're operating right now in your business. It's almost just taken on a life of its own. Like I mentioned earlier, it almost feels chaotic. And now that you're trying to hit new levels in your business, make more money, have more clients than ever, you're realizing just how difficult it is to get unstuck from where you are. It almost feels like you're in quicksand, right? You're trying to move around and get all these things done and change up the way you do business while still servicing clients and providing and delivering amazing value. But it's like the more you do all of that, the more you're sinking, the more you're overwhelmed. And very soon, it's going to feel like you cannot breathe. And these are the big signs, guys. These are the big signs that you need to watch this video until the end and take action and complete this business audit that I'm going to be walking you through step by step, right? So those common signs are, again, this feeling of just being in chaos, being on the verge of burnout, having unclear priorities, and there being a lot of tension within your business, right? Whether that tension feels like it's between teammates or whether it feels like it's between you and clients, there's just a lot of rising tension. And I'm going to be using a very simple 3-step framework in order to walk you through this audit. So if any of those feelings resonate with you, that is a sign that you're in the right place. So let's briefly touch on what a business audit is before we get straight into the 3-step framework that I'm going to be walking you guys through. A business audit is almost just like taking a moment to get a pulse on your business. It is a step-by-step review that we will be doing in order for you to gain more clarity. And here's a key thing to know. A business audit is not about picking apart your business. It's really about understanding it. Because here's the thing, we cannot make better decisions moving forward until we have all of the facts, until we have all of the data. And I have found working with a lot of small and medium-sized entrepreneurs that ultimately they very rarely have the time to look back, to reflect, to assess, to get a sense of a pulse on the business. And because of that, they're almost driving their business forward through brute force instead of through strategic decision making. So we're trying to understand what's working, what's missing, what's draining you. And once we have all of the facts around these big questions, then we can create a path forward that is more profitable and more peaceful. Okay, let's get straight into things. So we're going to be conducting this audit in a 3-step framework. The first step in this framework is clarity. A lot of those questions that we were asking around what is working in our business and what is not working, we are going to uncover these questions in the first step where we are getting more data in order to make better decisions when it comes to our business. The next step is systems and structure. It's really important for us to pause and reflect on the systems and structures in our business that exist, or for many of you that are watching this, maybe don't exist, because this is going to start giving us those practical next steps of what we need to do in order to stop feeling so overwhelmed, stop feeling like we are drowning underwater. And the third step is leadership. So we are going to better understand our role in our businesses and what we should be focusing on in order to drive the business forward and make a bigger impact that aligns with our goals, whatever those goals might be. Like I mentioned earlier, it could be making more money, could be having more clients, it could be working less. Whatever the goals are, there is a certain way that we need to show up as leaders within our organization in order to achieve those goals. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the clarity component of this business audit. And a quick tip, guys, if you want to follow along and get all of the prompts that I'm going to be discussing and get all of the resources in order to support you through this process, there is a link down below in the description box that you can click on. It is a 3-day email sequence that will walk you through all of these steps. The reason why you don't get all of them at once is because it gives you the opportunity to actually do the work and reflect before moving on to the next step. So make sure you sign up for that down below in the description box in order to follow along with this video. So the real goal of step 1 in this 3-step framework is to reconnect with the vision of our business. Here's the thing, for a lot of people, your business has now taken on a life of its own, right? It has just become this wild roller coaster ride that you're on, and it feels like you're no longer the captain who is steering the ship. That is not where we want to be at all. And I'm gonna give you a couple of reasons why. Because first of all, for most of us, our businesses are lifestyle businesses. They provide us with the lifestyle we want. They provide us almost with the funding that we want in order to live the life that we want, in order to have the life that we have. Yes, we enjoy making money. Yes, we enjoy servicing clients. Yes, we enjoy having an impact. But ultimately, we do it in this vehicle of having our own business so that we can be in control of our life and how we want to show up and have an impact on people, who we want to work with, and how we want to make our money. So one of the key components of gaining the clarity that's going to drive us forward to take the right steps is understanding what success actually looks like to you. Here's the thing, there might be some people who are watching this that think, you know, I want to be location independent and be able to travel the world. There might be other people who are watching this that feel like success for me looks like getting to spend more time with my children and less time working. Everybody has such different definitions of what success looks like for them. And this is really key because a lot of the times we get very caught up in what society tells us what success looks like. And here's the thing, if you've decided to run your own business, you've already decided to buck the mainstream trend and head down a path with many unknowns and head down a path that's scary, right? That most people won't ever head down. So why are we still using traditional societal frameworks to inform our vision of success? Well, I would argue that we shouldn't, and that we really have to uncover this for ourselves. So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, what do I want my life and my business to feel like? There's no right answer to this. There's no wrong answer to this. My only ask is that you provide an honest answer. There are a couple of different ways that you can frame answers to this question. I would recommend that you think about it from the perspective of income, energy, and also time freedom. So those are great places to start if you are not sure how to begin answering that question. So pause here, take a moment, think about that, and let's continue on. So now that you have a clear vision of what you want your life and your business to look like, I want you to ask yourself this question. What needs to be true in my business in order to support that vision? So for example, if some of you said you want location independence, you want to be able to work from anywhere, what needs to be true in order to support that? One of the answers might be, that means I am not physically present with clients. and that I need to restructure my current offerings so that I don't need to be physically present with them. Some people might have said the opposite. Some people might be working remotely right now with clients, and instead you want more opportunity to travel for work. Maybe you want to attend more conferences. Maybe you want to be able to work with clients all across the continent. And if that's the case, what needs to be true in order to support that? Next, we want to understand what is currently happening in our business that is causing us to feel out of alignment with our vision. Because here's the thing, a lot of us feel burnt out, drained, exhausted, not because of the amount of hours that we're working weekly, but because the sort of work that we're doing is still not aligning with where we want to be. And this is really important. I have a task and time audit, which I will link down below, and that we'll talk a little bit more about once we get to leadership, that'll help you move through this period of shifting towards the sort of work that we enjoy doing, that's in our zone of genius, and that more importantly, helps us achieve our vision. So some of the things that might be keeping you feeling out of alignment with your vision, with the dream business that you're trying to build, could be over delivering, right? Like you are spending so much time with each client, you are doing work that is completely out of scope in order to exceed their expectations, right? Or it could be something as simple as inconsistent revenue, right? You just don't feel a sense of peace because your revenue is all over the place or so seasonal. Or that you're just doing too much custom work. Every new client almost feels like you're rolling out a new offer because things are just so customized to the needs of each client and solving their problems and pain points. So write all of them down, whatever comes to mind that is currently preventing you from achieving the vision that you're working towards. And here's the thing, guys, this is not a quick overnight fix. Again, this audit is meant to have certain things bubble to the surface that have just been hidden and suppressed for so long because you've been in hustle mode, because you've been in grind mode. But we're uncovering these things so that we can make better decisions over the course of weeks, over the course of months, to make a massive shift and make a change in the way that we operate. So speaking of shift, the last prompt that I'm going to walk you through for this section is to ask yourself, what do I have the power to shift starting now? Here's the thing. You, like I mentioned, are not going to be able to change everything overnight, but there are certain things that you can actually take a deep dive on. You can take action on today. You can take action on tomorrow. So what are those immediate low-hanging fruit opportunities that you can take action on? Okay, now let's get into our systems and structure audit, which is super important. It's what's going to set us up for success in order to pull the right levers in our businesses in order to really change the day-to-day work that we do. Because here's the thing. A lot of the times we need to actually just focus on how we can do things better daily, how we can do things better today, tomorrow, in order for us to feel a sense of relief and feel like we don't constantly have the hustle switch turned to its maximum. I don't know about you guys, but that's not where I want to be, and that's not where I want you guys to be. So understanding the systems and structures opportunities within our business is really important. Let's get into it. So the goal of this section is to really identify friction points and also opportunities to streamline our day-to-day operations. So again, that's the stuff that we're doing on a daily basis. That's how we're interacting with clients. That's how we're processing payments. All of these little things that we have to do in order to keep the business running, in order to keep our customers happy, that's what we're thinking about in this section. One thing that I have mentioned in previous videos before, which I will link up above and down below in the description box, is the fact that most people do not actually suffer from a time management problem. Time management is actually a symptom of the real problem, which is prioritization and priority management. So you're not overwhelmed because you have too much work to do on a daily basis. You're feeling overwhelmed because you don't know what your priorities are, and on top of that, you don't have the right systems in order to support those priorities. And it's not like anybody's doing it on purpose, right? It's most people just have not been guided through these sorts of thought exercises before, through this sort of audit, so that they can make changes to their business. And here's the thing, I mentioned this earlier about the fact that you cannot get to your next level by doing things the way that you've always done them, right? So the things that take you to 6 figures are not the same things that take you to multiple 6 figures or 7 figures. So in order to hit 6 figures, honestly, like I mentioned, a lot of people do it by brute force. A lot of people do it by not having a lot of systems, by not having a lot of structure. But it eventually catches up with you, right? It eventually gets to a point where you're like, okay, I cannot do things the same way I've always done them. I'm feeling exhausted, I'm feeling burnt out, and I need to do things differently. So one of the first questions that I'm gonna ask you is, if you had to remove yourself from your business for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, what are the first things that would break? Because almost everybody watching this video is a solopreneur or has a small team. So we are very much so involved in our businesses. We are delivering the services, yes, but there's also so many other components that come along with just running the business, right? There's marketing, there's sales, there's all of the admin stuff. What are the things that would break first in your business? Because here's the thing, guys, one of the biggest mistakes that people can make is thinking that all tasks are created equally. That's absolutely not the case at all. You have high leverage tasks, you have low leverage tasks, you have revenue generating tasks, you have non-revenue generating tasks. Not everything in your business has to be done by you. Almost think about these tasks like people. Not everybody should have the same amount of access to you, right? Not everybody should have an equal amount of time in your day. Some people are more important than others. You're going to prioritize your partner, you're going to prioritize your kids, you're going to prioritize your family more than you would a stranger off the street. So similarly, you need to apply that same mindset to all of the work that you're doing on a daily basis. Not all tasks are created equally, and not everything should get an equal amount of attention from you, because that's how you find yourself burnt out and completely depleted. There's just not enough, not only time, but there's not enough energy to dedicate to everything. It's just not possible. So understanding what are the first 5 to 10 things that would break if you were not in the business, these are the first things that you should look to set up systems and structure around, right? We want to be able, in this digital age, guys, to lean on tools, to lean on AI to do the heavy lifting for us. And a lot of the times when it comes to what tools we should be using, it's not an issue of people aren't ready to invest in the right tools, because the value's there. And I'm sure if I said, I have a tool that will help, eliminate 10% of the work that you have to do, you would be willing to pay for it. Oftentimes it's a knowledge gap. You just don't know that you even need something to fill this gap within your business. So once you're aware of what you should be prioritizing when it comes to the right tools, when it comes to the right systems, when it comes to the right structure, you can go out and fill that gap in an intentional way that makes sense for you and your business. What else you really want to be looking for and prioritizing as you have this list of the things that are first to break is the things that should be repeatable. A lot of the repeatable operations within your business tend to fall into the admin category, right? So these are things like onboarding a client. These are things like processing payment and sending invoices, or even things within the sales and marketing funnel. Like if you're doing cold outbound, right? You are sending emails, you are pitching to people. That is a repeatable task. So we want to find those sorts of repeatable tasks, because these are some of the first things that we want to create a process around. We want to create structure, and think of a process as a very simple set of instructions on how you would explain to somebody who doesn't know anything about your business how to do that thing. So how to send an invoice to a customer and collect payment. So those are the things that we should be looking to create processes around and use obviously the right tools for them if we don't already have those tools, because these are the first things that we should look to delegate or outsource when it comes to our business. Why? Because they're usually low leverage tasks. They're usually not the thing that you as the CEO should be working on, which we're going to touch on next. And when we're talking, guys, about low hanging fruit opportunities in order to take action within our business as a result of this audit, this is a huge area for us to take action and make a change. You should be able to write down at least one process that you are going to create as a result of identifying these opportunities within your business that could break without you. And you should be finding one tool that is going to support you and do the heavy lifting for you when it comes to these tasks within your business. So step 3 is all about leadership, and it is all about a CEO mindset. And the goal here is to really think about moving from being an operator to being a strategic leader. This is what is necessary in order to take your business to the next level and in order for you to get unstuck and really zone in on the areas where you can have the greatest impact on your business. I've already mentioned how you are not going to be able to achieve growth and scale in your business if you are operating today the same way that you did day one. And one of the big reasons for this is because a lot of the times when people start off their business, they are almost acting like an employee within their business. I have a whole masterclass where I deep dive into the difference between these mindsets, which I will link up above and down below in the description box, and you guys can check that out next. But just to give you a little bit of a taste of it, an employee mindset is really task orientated. You get energy, you pat yourself on the back for completing tasks. And I know this is gonna resonate with some of you guys. Like, you feel good just when things get done. That is the employee mindset. You are focused on just making it through the day-to-day and checking the boxes from your to-do list. And don't get me wrong, that's more often than not where you have to be. That's where you have to be in order to get clients. That's where you have to be in order to stay on top of the client work you have to do. But that is not where you can stay if you are looking to grow and scale your business. You have to graduate. You have to elevate to the CEO mindset. And the CEO mindset is all about doing strategic work. So it's about shifting from just prioritizing the day-to-day tasks, the day-to-day work that have to be done, to actually creating a plan and a vision for the future and starting to align your business with that plan and vision for the future, like we've started to do in this session right here. CEO energy, CEO mindset is all about shifting from that task-orientated mindset to a strategic mindset, planning for the future, optimizing your business in a way where you are creating it so that it aligns with that vision that we started off talking about. But here's the thing, most people don't actually know how to do the strategic work, or they've never just dedicated the carved out time in their calendar in order to do the strategic work. Which, by the way, if you are at that point in your business where you are thinking about how to scale your business, if you are thinking about how you can work less and achieve more freedom, I invite you to book a coffee chat with me down below in the description box. We can talk in more detail about what this could look like for you in your business. So the question that I have for you when it comes to this third step is, where are you still acting like an employee? Where do you find you're just satisfied by checking off the to-do list, checking off the tasks that need to be done in your business? And I never want to give too many examples or interject too much when it comes to this process because I want people to work through things on their own. But I feel like an area where this is a huge opportunity is actually around marketing, and people usually do not have a structured marketing strategy, and instead they are just posting, right? They're like, okay, I posted for the day, okay, I posted twice a day, I'm doing all the things, I'm patting myself on the back, and they're moving forward from there. But that is an area where a lot of people are still acting like an employee as opposed to a CEO. So make that list of the other areas where you feel like there's opportunity for you to step into your CEO energy. And there are more prompts in the section that you will be able to access on day 3 of the email sequence that I have linked for you guys down below in the description box. But I want to really emphasize a key one, which is if your business were to 10x tomorrow. Because here's the thing, a lot of us, that's what we want from our business, right? We want to 10x our revenue. We want to hit $1 million or more. But it's without this expectation that we're going to have to work differently and that there's potentially going to be more work if we don't have the right systems and structures in place. So if your business were to 10x tomorrow, where would your leadership fail you? Would your leadership actually hold up? And here's the thing, if you've been acting like an employee for months and years, your leadership probably won't hold up because you haven't given yourself the opportunity to sit in that CEO seat and really refine the skill set that is necessary in order for you to be able to 10x and lead your company to growth in a profitable way. So I really hope this 3-step framework, guys, gives you a very clear pathway for how you can go about auditing your business and what insights you can derive from this audit process that will allow you to make better decisions moving forward. So pat yourself on the back when it comes to doing the hard work of lifting up the hood in order to keep the engine running in your business. Don't forget, guys, there are a bunch of resources down below in the description box for you guys. You can book that coffee chat if you want some one-on-one custom support. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.